Hello and welcome back to another character preview video. My name's Lumin and today we're having a look at Kingshunt. This is a free-to-play third-person tactical arena brawler set in a dark fantasy world. In this game you form a team of 5, you choose your hero, and you take the fight to the enemy. Sounds good. Sounds cool. The characters look pretty fun in this. There's a massive rooster that you can play as that also happens to be a mage. So if that's not enough to, pique your curiosity, then I'm not sure what is, my friends. As always, you can do a deep dive and discover more about this game by checking the links in the description of the video, and you can also use the timestamps to jump between the different parts, so you can find what you're looking for and leave satisfied. With all of that said, let us jump in and have a peek at the heroes. We're starting with Legena, a support. She is 2 out of 3 difficulty, armor 1 out of 3. With teamwork, we can do this! Okay. Legena is the daughter of Duke Lowen of House Lukenbach, who rules over the ethereal realm from his seat in the capital city of Monad. At only 19 years of age, Legena is naive, carefree, and childlike, but also incredibly gifted in healing magic. She possesses the ability to mend others' wounds with the power of her family's ancestral guardian spirit, Trelev. I find it fascinating how much lore they always stuff into these games. And it saddens me a little bit that a lot of the lore just sort of goes to waste, Poof, because most players don't even bother reading this stuff. I love it. The art teams, the lore guys who actually set all of this up, put it all in the game, they are the true MVPs. Before appearing to Legena, the Spectral Hawk used to be commanded by Beatrice, the late Duchess of Monad, and Legena's great-grandmother, who conquered the lands of the ethereal realm with Trelev at her side in the war known as the Beatrice Uprising. Legena has increased health regen. That last part's not the lore. That's just an extra little piece of information. Abilities. First aid. She grants health to targeted allied hero. I'm not going to read the numbers as always. Blinding light. She blinds all nearby enemies for 2 seconds and deals damage. And then Trelev. She steals 50% of enemy heroes' current health and distributes it to nearby wounded ally heroes and herself. She's immortal during the cast. That sounds fantastic. Like, this is a proper support. Skins. She has 1 skin at the moment. It's kind of cool. The Red Soul skin. I like it. I like the design on the hero. It's a pity you can't see the abilities and stuff like that in action here in the menu. But, yeah, we'll survive. We'll survive. Next up. Endora, a mage. Difficulty 1, armor 1. This is gonna be fun. Endora is a beautiful sorceress from the Forsaken Realm who answers to no one. She has lived for several centuries and is capable of controlling gravity magic, bringing down meteors on those who dare oppose her will. Yet she is in a fight with a 19-year-old that's carefree and naive. Oh man. Okay. All throughout her life, Endora's maverick personality has put her on a collision course with the Council of the Forsaken, the rulers of her home realm. She's been on the run from the Council's hired killers after finding out the terrible secret behind their immortality and power. Okay. Alright. That's cool. Abilities. Shooting Star. She charges a blast that deals up to X amount of damage and extra damage to bypass units. Successful basic hits reduce the cooldown. Empower. She increases her and nearby friendly heroes' attack speed by 25% for 5 seconds. End of day. She calls down a meteor at the target area which deals a huge amount of damage and slows struck enemies by 70% for 0.5 seconds. It's not a very long time. Skins. She has 1 skin. It's called Adventures of Youth. It's not exactly just a recolor. There are... No, it's a recolor. Okay. I was trying to look on the bright side. The hair's a little different. The hair's like, it's sort of more voluptuous. It's got a little bit more body. So it's not exactly a recolor, but, let's look on the bright side where that's concerned. Some of the other heroes definitely have more interesting skins. Laurelai. She's a tank. Oh my god, speaking of interesting skins. There we are. So, difficulty 1, armor 3. This is where we make our stand. Laurelai is a lieutenant and commanding officer of the Knights of Beatrice, a platoon of female warriors formed during the Beatrice... I'm saying Beatrice, it might be Beatrice or Beatrice, it's whatever. Uprising that is dedicated to protecting and serving the Duchess of Monad. At the age of 24, Laurelai is far and away the youngest person to ever be given the position of lieutenant in her order. As the commander of the Knights of Beatrice. Her sign of officer is the exquisite shield and suit of armor crafted from the exceedingly rare and powerful arcane metal known as Migmarite. Migmarite. That's what it's called? Okay. Fantastic. It looks amazing. Abilities, Frenzied Combo. She swings her sword 3 times, dealing damage. Each swing must be timed correctly by pressing the ability button within 1 second of each cast. That's cool. Okay, so it's like an active time maneuver. Impenetrable Shield. She shields herself from all frontal damage using 4 mana per second and 7.5 mana extra with each hit blocked. Blocked hits grant Laurelai 50 armor. Cool. Leap Strike. Leap Strike. She leaps to the target location, dealing damage and stunning enemy units for 1.5 seconds. Each enemy struck grants 10 mana. In case it wasn't obvious, this final one is usually the ulti. It's like their big ability. You know, it's generally more powerful. Skins. Here we go. That's the basic one. It looks great, and she has some serious hair. That's a recolor. It's called Silver. This one's called Dark. It's kind of nice. Purple Emerald. Okay, Silver Metal. It's mostly recolors where they change some of the textures and stuff like that. It's alright. Looks alright. Next up. Grozny. Yeah. Fighter. Difficulty 3, Armor 2. Okay. Looks pretty cool. Wow. How many more times do I need to prove myself? Banished from his home realm forever and seeking a place to stay, Grozny's unnatural strength and rare powers have earned him a place in the Duke's Guard in the court of Monad. Originally from the Verdant realm, Grozny is half-human, half-fairy hybrid, capable of wielding the powers of earth magic, a trait rarely seen in the ethereal realm where magical potency of its native inhabitants has long been waning, and mercenaries' magical capabilities are in high demand. Grozny hates following orders and aims to take Isac's place as the captain of the Duke's Guard, though not knowing it will never happen, as the nobles only view him as a hot-headed brute with the strength to wipe out an army, and would never let a foreigner claim such high-status positions. Alright. Call of the Axe. Poor dude, by the way. Call of the Axe. Pulls and stuns enemies in front of him for 1.2 seconds, dealing damage. Fearsome Charge. Charges forward while holding down the ability, and upon release pushes all enemies away, dealing damage to enemy units and stunning them for 1 second. And then finally, Might of the Axe. Slams his axe into the ground, dealing massive damage and stunning all enemies in front of him for 1.5 seconds. He looks pretty cool. I like the glowy bits. And in terms of skins, oh, he has a slightly different one. That's kind of sick. It changes the color of the glow. Very nice. Yeah. Very cool. Isac is next up. Oh, he was mentioned. This is the boss, right? That's that guy's boss, man. He is Armor 3, Difficulty 2. The light will guide me. He looks like a paladin, I want to say. A skilled fighter and scion of the Monadian noble house Undrang. Isac is blessed with the ability to call upon his family's ancestral guardian spirit known simply as the Light, which he worships fervently and piously. He holds the highly coveted position of captain of the Duke's Guard and prides himself on never losing a fight, not even in training. For real? Okay. I bet he loses a lot of these games. Flux. Casts a piercing spell, dealing damage and applying charge status to all enemies it passes through. Casts it again to call it back, dealing AoE damage on the ground. Stun charged enemies with any hit for 1 second. Okay. Divine Protection. He dashes with immunity, dealing damage to enemies upon landing, creating a projectile blocking shield. Hold it to increase dash duration. And then Surge starts emitting lightning around him every 4 seconds, granting all nearby friendly players attack speed and movement speed while dealing damage, and applying charge to enemy units up to 3 times. His skins. Duke's Gold. Golden Isac. Replica. What? Okay. They're mostly recolors and retextures. It's kind of weird. This guy really likes his gold, doesn't he? Malakai. Oh, this guy looks different. What the heck are those arms, dude? Difficulty 3, Armor 3. He's a tank. Your bones will be mine. He's a scavenger of the dead, continuously growing in physical and magical capabilities by feeding on his prey. The ability to repair his broken bones with the parts of his victims makes Malakai an unstoppable juggernaut to be feared. Oh yeah, that's why he looks so weird. Okay. There's like skulls here and bones here and all sorts of bits and pieces here. Malakai's brethren, dubbed the Grim Hosts, are a race of small rodents originating from the Forlorn Realm, with a strong affinity to death magic that grants them the power to reanimate dead body parts and add them to be part of their own body. Visually, all Grim Hosts differ in their looks, as all their bony exteriors are composed of the dead body parts of creatures they've killed or come upon. Okay. Malakai heals himself and near allies when killing a unit. Gripping Fang. Swings his arm towards target location, passing through minions, dealing 100 damage. Hitting a hero, snares them for 2 seconds and causes bleeding. Bone Wall. He raises a Bone Wall from the ground. And then Terror. Moves quickly to target location, dealing continuous AoE damage for 6 seconds to all enemy units, slowing them and eventually rooting them for 2 seconds. Enemies in the area receive 20% more damage, and Malakai takes 20% less damage. Okay. He has 2 skins. This one and that one. Golden Rose. I kind of like it. But, yeah, again, it's just sort of a different color, a different shade. We're not seeing a lot of, like, sweeping changes on the heroes. Maybe it's not necessary. I don't know. Next up is Mara. Tank. Are you ready to embrace the caress of the profaned spear? Oh, yeah, there's the spear. When you're looking at it from this angle, you can't really see it. Difficulty 2, armor 3. Mara's an elite warrior in the Forsaken army and serves as the second in command behind Jatult. She was created by the Council of the Forsaken as a result of soul magic ritual where the souls and ashes of hundreds of warriors who had died valiantly in defense of the soul cauldron of Alkos from the invading armies of the ethereal realm in the Second Spirit War were combined to create the ultimate soldier. She wields the profane spear, a weapon which is fueled by chaos magic and is elegant and deadly as its owner. She's capable of double jump. Okay. Whiplash throws her spear to target location, either pulls hit unit towards her or follows the spear to the hit location. Oh, that's kind of cool. Eruption. Mara slams her spear into the ground, dealing damage and making them grounded for 3 seconds, unable to dodge. Okay. Chains of Sun-Nir. Mara throws a spear at the target location, dealing continuous damage to all enemies in the area and making them grounded, unable to dodge. If the enemy player moves away from the area, they are stunned for 2 seconds. Okay. Skins. These are at least different. They like basically the exact opposite. It's like they took the colors and inverted them. It's kind of nice. Yeah. Mara is a woman, in case you didn't see. I mean, it's like, you can see by the curves on the armor and the hair and stuff like that. And it, yeah, well, she. Heroes. Okay, next up. Noxis. That's kind of cool. Assassin. Difficulty 3, armor 1. Oh, here's a good one. What's sharp and about to be lodged in your back? Noxis is a shadow creature that originates from the Forlorn Realm and is gifted the ability to control void magic. For an unknown reason, he was captured and enslaved in his home realm. By fusing part of his soul into a talisman that can be used to harm or even kill Noxis, making him subservient to whoever holds the talisman. Talisman has ended up in the hands of Duke Lowen, the ruler of the ethereal realm, and it was the Duke's whim to force Noxis to wear a specifically crafted jester's outfit in order to conceal his gas-like shadow form, which was frankly terrifying and unsettling to members of the Monardian court. Every 5th basic attack has lifesteal applied. Hidden Blade throws a dagger that silences and deals damage to the target. Phase. If pressed again, within 3 seconds, Noxis teleports to the target, dealing extra damage. Trepidation. After a small duration, Noxis applies fear to all enemies and deals damage every second for 2 seconds. True Colors. On activation, Noxis sees enemies through walls. After selecting a target and pressing the ability key again, he teleports to the enemy target, dealing damage to them. That's cool. Skins. Oh, that's nice. There we go. That looks kind of terrifying. I like the black on the little stars. Nice. And the little tear rolling down the cheek. That's not there on the other one. Okay. Alaida. Oh, she's a fairy. Cool. Difficulty 3, armor 1. They will pay for what they've done to my home. Alaida is one of the last remaining fairies and a staunch defender of her native habitat in the Verdant Realms forests. Alluring and beautiful, the fairies are the original inhabitants of the Verdant Realm, along with giants, and, apart from Alaida, have all either gone into hiding or been wiped out by Vikings and their expanding settlements. Sever. She is a mage. She fires a unit piercing projectile that deals magical damage, and if cast on an enemy with 3 stacks of soul root, the cooldown is reset. Blur. She becomes invisible, leaving behind a clone after 3 seconds, or after re-triggering the ability, the clone returns to Alaida, applying 3 stacks of soul root around it to everyone it passes. Fairy dust. She sprinkles fairy dust over a large area, dealing damage, and applying a 40% slow and a stack of soul root to all enemies in the area. Okay. Skins. This one is just barely different. It's called Fury. I don't even see much of it changing, really. The character looks great, but the skin is really not doing anything for me. Okay, next up. Ah, it's Jatult. We read about this guy. He is a fighter. Difficulty 2, armor 1. Cower before me, mortals. Eternity hungers. The High Commander of the Forsaken Army, Jatult, is tasked with representing the interests of the Council of the Forsaken outside the immediate confines of the Soul Cauldron of Elkos. Menacing and ruthless and stern, Jatult has earned a reputation as a commander that relies less on effective strategy and more on his own skill at arms to keep his troops disciplined to guarantee results on the battlefield. He wields a terrifying twin blade named Eternity that captures the souls of its victims to empower itself. It doesn't look all that special. Death Spiral. He deals damage to all enemies around him with each activation up to 3 times. With each activation, Jatult gains 33 stamina. 3rd activation stuns enemies. Soul Reap. Jatult starts empowering his weapon with the souls of near enemy heroes, and for 6 seconds gains 10% of their current physical power, slows their movement 10%, and gains 25% lifesteal. That's really strong. Spin Rush. Quickly rushes towards the target, dealing damage to all enemies he passes. Okay. Skins. This one's called Soul Walker. Alabaster. And Prophecy. It's nice and shiny, I guess. He's got like a face on his chest piece here. Kind of like it. Kind of like it. Next up, Scarlet. She's a marksman. Difficulty 1, armor 1. May my arrows fly swift and true. She's an agile bow user who can empower her bow with unimaginable heat, making her arrows capable of piercing any armor. Leading a ragtag band of thieves and poachers in the forest of the Verdant Realm, her outlaw ways have put her in direct conflict with the Jarls. Aside from incoherent ramblings about her uncle and a bird that landed on her windowsill when she was a child, Scarlet has remained tight-lipped on her origins, leaving members of her gang puzzled as to who she is and where she comes from. She can double jump. Alright. Piercing Arrow. She charges a piercing arrow that deals up to X amount of damage to enemies. Holding down the ability increases the charge. Champions are not pierced. Hunter's Mark. She shoots a player, revealing proximity arrow to any surface, increasing damage done to the revealed targets by 20%. Okay. Scarlet Range. She leaps into the air and starts shooting piercing arrows, dealing damage to with each arrow. Okay. It doesn't say how many. Hero skins. Here we go. Oh, nice. Finally, Ivory Royal Garb. So here's a big difference at least. Like, they've taken the hood off, they've changed the outfit entirely, and she looks different. Yeah. Oh my god, much better. Raven. Here's where all the good skins are hiding. Look at that. That's fantastic. Tough. The bowstring seems to have disappeared on this one, but that's alright. And Zechen. Or Zechen. That's cool. I like it. Yeah. This one is amazing. Really, really cool. Alright. That's Scarlet. Mortan. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Didn't expect this one. It's a mage. Difficulty 1, armor 1. Knowledge. Must find all knowledge. Okay, well that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? Mortan's one of the Mind Flayers, a special species of creatures that have purposefully been created by mages in the Forsaken Realm to serve in the Forsaken Army in the task of interrogating prisoners. Mind Flayers are gifted in the power of reverse telepathy and are therefore able to force any knowledge out of the minds of their victims. This process often leads to the victims losing their minds or even outright dying from the trauma. Mortan no longer serves the Forsaken Army after being declared unfit for service and cast out to fend for himself due to his seemingly unquenchable thirst for knowledge and inability to control his powers, which made Mortan untrustworthy and highly dangerous to be around. Despite his otherwise gormless and friendly demeanor, there's no telling who his mind-scrambling reverse telepathy would target next. Mortan's able to float by holding down the jump key. That's cool. Overflow. Mortan channels a beam that pierces and continuously deals damage to all enemies it hits for 2.5 seconds. Writhe. Whips a tentacle in the target direction, applying 50% slow to a single target for 2 seconds and dealing damage. If the target is hit again with the ability within 2 seconds, they are snared. Omega. Mortan shoots all piercing arcane beam to target direction. Ah, okay. Dealing 600 damage to any enemies it passes through. That's a lot. That's the highest number I think I've seen so far. Skins. Okay, it's a bit different in color. Hellfire and light. Alright. Okay. Yeah, this guy looks kind of terrifying, huh? I like the hair. Everyone seems to have really good hair in this game. Then we have Jarn. Whatever. I don't know how to pronounce that. He's a fighter. Difficulty 1. Armor 2. I didn't start this war, but I will damn sure end it. Jarn is the champion of Viking people and the Lord Captain of the Verdant Realm's fleet of ships. Elected to his position by the 4 Jarls of his realm, Jarn represents the interests of the Verdant Realm in both trade and warfare. In times of peace, Jarn is experienced sailor and a shrewd negotiator, capable of navigating the most treacherous waters and bringing wealth to his people with advantageous trade deals. In times of war, he is a masterful tactician and fearsome warrior in his own right. The mere mention of his name and the 2 axes effectively deters anyone that considers invading the Verdant Realm. Those are teeny weeny little axes though, huh? Jarn is firm and largely humorless man, but nevertheless well liked among his crew for treating his men with respect and fairness. However, he does not tolerate mistakes of any kind from himself or his crew when it comes to sailing. Each hit with Talon or Fang reduces the respective cooldowns. Oh, Fire Fang and Ice Talon. Okay. Jarn throws Talon in the target direction, dealing magical damage to the first enemy it hits, and 50% damage to additional enemies hit, applying 50% chilling for 1.5 seconds. Talon returns to Jarn when it reaches its maximum distance or hits a wall. When enemy reaches 100% chilling, they are frozen, receiving 25% increased damage from all sources. Fire Fang. Jarn leaps a small distance forward, dealing damage to all enemies at the target location and leaving 5-second lasting pool of fire on the ground that deals damage every second. Then we have Crow's Nest. Jarn leaps into the air and after pressing the ability again, lands at a target location, dealing damage, magical impact damage plus extra magical explosion damage, and leaving 5-second lasting pool of fire on the ground that deals damage every second. This guy likes fire on the ground. Skins. He has one. It's called Draugr. It's like an undeady version of him. Okay. It's kind of cool, I guess. Tulikko. Tulikko is a fox. Fighter. Difficulty 3. Armor 2. My search has led me here. An unfortunate fate awaits those who stand in my way. Cool sword. Look at that. He charged it up. Tulikko is an ancient and elusive creature living in quiet, hermetic lifestyle in the northern ice fields of the Verdant Realm. Wise, calm, and respectful, Tulikko has dedicated his life to seeking knowledge, exploring all the known realms, and perfecting the art of wielding a sword. He looks a little cray-cray as well. Piercing Flame. Tulikko shoots out a piercing flame, dealing damage, and if the ability is used while dodging, Tulikko deals damage around himself as well. Each ability grants a stack of Foxfire. At 4 stacks, the next Piercing Flame applies a stun to targets. Stance Switch. White. Each basic attack grants Tulikko a burst of movement speed. Active. After entering the stance, Tulikko gains a decaying 30% movement speed. Red. 20% attack speed. Active for 5 seconds after entering the stance. Tulikko's basic attacks apply a stack of Flame Rend to enemies, dealing magical damage after the effect ends. Then Blade of Dawn. Tulikko marks near enemy heroes and, after a delay, warps behind them, dealing damage and magical damage 6 times, split up by up to 3 enemy players. Okay, so it's another Omni-Slash type deal. Skins? Oh, that's kind of cool. Arctic Fox. He still looks a little crazy. That's fine. That's fine. Right on. Our final one. The most exciting one. Crowley. Difficulty 1. Armor 1. Also a rooster. Out of all the creatures in the world, I had to get stuck with you. The soul of a notorious and long-dead sorcerer, possessing the body of an unnaturally large and strangely deformed chicken. In his past life, Calvin Crowley rose from obscurity to become the court wizard of Monard and died at the hands of the Knights of Beatrice during the conflict known as the Beatrice Uprising. After 109 years, Crowley's soul has miraculously managed to break free from the soul cauldron of Elkos, a mysterious monument where all souls of the dead gather after their demise, and is now on a warpath with all of those he deemed responsible for his death. The soul of the chicken he possessed continues to coexist with him side by side in the same body, leading to conflict of interest between the two beings, as the docile chicken is frightened of battle and wants no part with the enigmatic dark sorcerer's quest for vengeance. He can double jump, this guy. Nice. Dark Rift, of course. Shoots a beam of dark energy, dealing damage on contact and exploding after 1 second, stunning enemies. Darkest Depths. Summons a pool of dark energy, dealing damage to all enemies in its radius, giving him +1 mana each time damage is dealt. Then Judgment Day. No chicken-themed abilities. Creates orbs every time he casts a spell. When Judgment Day is cast, all the orbs are shot at the target direction, dealing damage, and applying a 10% slow per orb. If the maximum amount of 5 orbs have been accumulated, they form a large orb that deals extra damage and applies 50% slow in a wide area. Skins. Snow. It's like a whiter one. And Polar. Yeah, it looks alright. And that brings us to the end of the heroes. Yeah, and the end of the video. They look alright. So, I want to say, I'm a big fan of how unique they managed to make all of these characters, and all the interesting and crazy designs that they have, and that is something to be commended, for sure. Like, the heroes look fantastic, the abilities sound fun, the lore is really cool. It's a great setting. And it's a great setup. The one thing I will say is that the skins right now, for the most part, are a little lackluster. I think that that's obviously something that will improve over time. And I'm hoping that they release like a bunch of different skins that sort of, you know, affect the characters in more drastic ways cosmetically. Because that'll obviously pique people's curiosity even more, get them spending money on it, keep the game and the people making the game happy and healthy. You know, that's obviously something that you need. You need to be realistic about these things, you know. So yeah, overall it looks cool, but the skin's a little disappointing. I like it though. It's cool. If any of you guys have played Kingshunt, I'd like to hear. I'd love to hear what you think about the gameplay itself. I always say this, but I like to live vicariously through you guys, because I always record these videos and I don't get to really play much of the games that I do the videos for, except in specific and special situations. So let me know if you've been playing this. Have you been having a good time? There seem to be a lot of games of this type coming out right now. So it'll be cool if I could hear about this one specifically, if there's anything that puts it ahead of the rest. As always, you can check back here soon for more. Give this one a like and share it and do all that other good stuff. And enjoy. Happy that.